Welcome back to the Have Not Room. I am Ben. I'm joined by Chad and Brian, and we are here back for another season of Big Brother. We're here to talk about the premiere of Big Brother 24, and definitely not a super jam-packed premiere, even though it was an hour and a half. But we do have a lot we can still go over. We had a very late cast reveal. Like less than 24 hours before the premiere happened. We didn't really have our classic cast preview podcast, and we had to do our winner picks offline. So we still have things to talk about here, even though the premiere was mostly just intros and comps. So I guess we could start there. Just to recap, the last season we covered was Celebrity Big Brother, season 3. We were able to get through that season despite
despite its best efforts.
Yeah, despite its best efforts, we dragged ourselves kicking and screaming to the end of that season, and the result of that was Brian's winner pick finishing the highest, followed by my winner pick, followed by Chad's. So that is the order that we picked our winner picks for this season. So Brian had the first pick, and who was your selection and why, Brian?
I picked Michael because he seems like us, a huge fucking nerd when it comes to Big Brother. So I was like, feel kindred, spirit to him, and I know it's a big risk reward. Sometimes super fans do great. Sometimes you pick Zach, like last season of Survivor, and they do less great. So I think he's Mensa. That's good. I haven't seen Mensa since Raven, I believe. So that's something. Hopefully, obviously he majored in something better than dance in college. So I think he has Raven beat there. But I don't know. I just vibed with him when reading and then watching. Like the it's not as thorough as stuff that in previous seasons has been out, but it is what it is. So I'm hopeful for Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his GPA was in law.
Yeah, his GPA was in law.
Great.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick. We can towards the end of the podcast we'll get into some of the feed stuff and kind of get a clue of where he is at this point. But yeah, definitely a solid first pick off of the board. And then I have my pick. My pick ends up during this episode becoming our first HOH, and that would be Daniel was my winner pick.
So that's good. I guess, as Michael said, you're apparently 4 times as likely to win the game if you win first HOH. I think we've always said that it's a good spot to be in if you're at all competent at a Big Brother.
Yeah.
Obviously, last regular season notwithstanding. This is really good news for you.
Yeah, I mean, but you look at, for instance, last season we covered in total in Saudi Big Brother season 3, Misha Tate, first HOH of the season and the winner.
True.
Despite the fact that there were alliances being formed in the first round that were excluding her, she still went on to win that season. And yeah, historically, first HOHs do well. And generally, as we've said, if you're good at Big Brother, being first HOH will accentuate that. And if you're bad at Big Brother, being first HOH will accentuate that.
Yes.
So it's like an amplifier for your game in either direction. I picked Daniel. He's a longtime fan. He's been watching since season 1. He's apparently applied to Big Brother 10 times before being selected for this season.
So don't give up, everyone else out there.
For
just
sure.
Keep supplying.
Yeah, until you hit 10. 10 is the cutoff. Once you hit 10, you're like, okay, maybe it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, we very famously stood in line with Dan Foley, who applied like 500,000 times to the 29 seasons of Survivor before he was on them. And so, sometimes they do like it when you're overly committed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Very, very good point. I think that usually, I think if you keep getting relatively far
Hmm.
in casting each time, it's probably worth it to keep applying. After like three, four, five times, if you're not really getting anywhere, it might be time to, take it easy for a bit and maybe figure something else out. Um, but yeah, Daniel is a traveling musician from Vegas, and apparently he toured with Victoria Justice back in the
Oh,
day
all right.
when she was more immediately relevant
Mm-hmm.
on Nickelodeon or whatever and doing music stuff.
Yeah.
And he is most notably a Elvis, not impersonator, but like an
Impressionist.
Elvis, yeah, like kind of like a cover artist for
Mm-hmm.
Elvis songs and Elvis as a performer. And he travels around doing that kind of show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if you liked the new movie. I've heard mixed things, unfortunately, but is what
I
it
haven't heard
is.
him. I haven't heard him mention it on the feeds yet. So
Mm. Maybe he was like disgusting. I'll never watch someone else be Elvis. Only me.
yeah, well, he has talked about how being an Elvis cover artist definitely has an age limit to it. He's like kind of bumping up against that age limit. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, Elvis, quite frankly, didn't live very long,
yeah,
so it makes sense.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, so far, I'm relatively happy with that pick. Obviously, like we don't have that much to go off of, but you mentioned being first situation generally good, so
Mm.
I can't complain. Uh, and then we move on. Chad had the third pick of three here, and who was your pick and why?
Yeah, I went with Pooch. There was some slim picking here, but I feel like he's in a. I mean, obviously after this week, he's in a really good spot. But my reasoning was, one, I definitely would have picked Michael, but out of everyone who was left, I think he was kind of that like happy medium where he's definitely not like the best looking guy in the house subjectively. He's probably not like the best in shape, so doesn't come across as a total meathead. Um, and he's very smart. I don't know what degree he said he had, or he was going for like a second master's degree or something. So he has the intelligence. This is football coach, so he has some athleticism to him, and he's a big super fan as well. During his Cavs interview, he was referencing Big Whale, Chilltown, going way back to the early Big Brother days.
Hmm.
So he's been watching for a long time. I think he said since middle school. So that's three check boxes for me. And out of who was left, I feel like he was a really good choice. And it's between him and Monty for me, but I feel like Monty just has, I, less of a, I feel like Pooch is more subtle than Monty.
Mm.
I feel like Monty could be a very big presence just because of that's like kind of who he is. He even said like he's a loud, outspoken person in his cast interview. So, and I feel like those people very often, get targeted quickly in Big Brother. So, Pooch is my pick, and so far I feel really good.
Yeah, the backstage boss himself.
Yeah,
I hope he
uh,
stays the whole season, the backstage boss, like Eric.
Well, what happens at that point? You never actually participate. You're just there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if we look at somebody else who was in the first swath of the game in Netta and BB Can 5, she still had a major impact on the season during her time being immune. So even if he were immune for more than a week, he can still get a lot done. Uh, Hopefully, when he's not immune next week, he has a better better result than Netta did in BB Can 5 the second that she was not immune. But yeah,
Hopefully.
very interesting that we have a twist week one that ends up with two people being immune, and both of them are two of our three winner picks. Yeah,
Yeah. We just need Michael to win the veto, and then all of us could be safe.
there you go.
That's the
Uh,
hope.
well, we'll see. Maybe we'll see if he needs it.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I think solid picks all around. And even people that we had talked about as well. Chad mentioned Monty. I think also would have been a solid pick.
Here's
I
another
think,
one. Yeah.
yeah. I think Amira is somebody that we also talked about as all potentially liking as like a potential second or third pick. I think that she's proven herself so far pretty good. So, yeah, hopefully another solid season for the Have Not Room, demonstrating that we're competent picking out good Big Brother players.
That'd be good. What do we think of in the house tour, the actual Have Not room this season? It's a drained swimming pool.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Little
a lot of
floaties to sleep on.
people are comparing it to the BB11 Have Not Room, somewhat similar. And yeah, so that was actually when the feeds came on last night. They came on to the Have Not Room reveal, basically. Like they came on as they were picking the Have Nots, and then like 5-10 minutes into the feeds, they revealed the Have Not Room, and it definitely doesn't look great. I personally would not want to be sleeping on pool floaties.
No.
Even though they were given pillows, like regular like cushion pillows and blankets, I think as well, like very minimal
Oh,
blankets.
that's good. They
But as
didn't
far as
just
like
make them sleep on that would have been so
yeah,
cruel.
but there's still like the bulk of the like actual bed slash mattress that they're on is like a pool chase. So yeah, I think one of the worst have not rooms in modern Big Brother.
Yeah, it's like you're right. It does look a lot like uh, the BB11 Have Not room,
Yeah.
down to like the slide in there as well. It's like, okay, well, they didn't stress themselves too hard on this one.
They're running out of ideas.
Yeah, they are. Oh man, yeah. Last season was just like what, like a storage room at like a casino, just like random stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Next, it'll be the roof of the Big Brother house.
I personally, I think Big Brother Canada usually, hits it out of the park. They haven't really done a real have not like recently. They kind of have done away with the have not room in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, Big Brother Canada has had just simply an empty room with nothing in it. Had the like hypnotosis thing where like everything was like curved surfaces.
That was rough.
Yeah, that was bad. They had the tiny wedding chapel where they had like these like small wooden pews, and they were basically had to sleep inside of them. They had the like cave filled with slime.
Yeah, that one was rough.
In BB Can 6. Yeah, that was another bad one.
Well, they have the ball pit, right?
Yeah, I remember ball pit.
Yeah, but the ball pit in BB Can 9, it wasn't actually a have not room. It was in where the have not room traditionally is, and it was like what you would expect the have not room to be, but it wasn't actually used as the have not room. It was just used occasionally as a twist. It's like, oh, there's something hidden in the ball pit or whatever. So
go find it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably more time spent on talking about have not room than
we have to do it. We have to.
Look,
it's our namesake.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We love
to name the show, man.
We have to pay the lip surface because the actual television show does not care about have nots past like week 1.
Nope. No.
Although the have nots this week, which we'll obviously get to, could play an important strategic factor in some of the decision making. So, that's it really as far as the intro stuff.
Yeah, intros were good. It was fun to learn about Joe because he got thrown in at the very last second. I didn't read anything about him before. In incredible shape. Holy hell. That dude is ripped and jacked. Other than that, nothing really too crazy. Trying to think if anything stood out to me. No, nothing really. I mean, they
Yeah.
had to have, you know, Chad, your winner pick. They had to do the Italian dude, Staten Island. It's like always,
Oh,
every
yeah.
season they gotta have one,
Yep.
and he fulfilled that role well. I
Oh,
thought.
perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like the Godfather. It's got to be a Godfather in the house.
I mean, I'm always like, every time they do it and they show like the chicken, it's always chicken parm too. I'm always like, ooh, that looks good.
Yeah. There's always a Mama's Boy segment as well.
Yeah, always.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Kyle was kind of cringy to me. Like that was really awkward
Oh,
just
the
to watch.
TikTok
I was
dancing
like,
thing.
yeah, like this
I don't
man's
think I heard about
towels.
that before. Are they like big on TikTok?
I think he does have a decent amount of followers. I can't remember what the number is, but it was like it was a large number, and then people were like, "Oh, it's actually really easy to get a lot of followers on TikTok." I'm like,
Okay, well, I disagree.
yeah,
Not that I'm grinding, but
yeah,
yeah. I mean, he's no Britney, I'm sure, but this is I'm sure him and his mom do well enough. And I feel like too, it's been said, but it's the new Instagram for
Mhm.
Big Brother. It's like, okay, who's big on this platform, but like not
Yep.
so big that it's like distracting from the show. Okay, this person, get him in there.
yeah. I saw people saying that he had like Cole LeBrant energy. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. It's-
And we
Yeah.
one dude in this is from Massachusetts. That's cool. He seems like kind of a weirdo. I'm gonna be straight up with you.
Yeah.
Seems very hippie, and new age, talking about chakras, living in his van. He worked for Mr. Beast and had a giant public falling out. So I had heard about him before this. He accused Mr. Beast of being like an abusive employer, and then he kind of got receipts pulled on him that maybe wasn't the case, and he was lying for clout. And yeah. Also, of course, his sister accused him of being abusive on Twitter. And then she got tweets of her being racist pulled, and a mess. Love it. Big Brother
Classic
just
Big
brings it
Brother
out.
preseason.
Yeah. Yep. And so that'll be interesting to see how he does, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Really got the rug pulled out from under him, huh?
He did. He did.
Magic carpet, yeah.
Mhm.
So far he has had less presence on the feeds than he did on the show. So
Yeah.
he's been by far the quietest person on the feed so far. So I have basically nothing to say
Yeah.
about him.
nothing to say.
Uh,
But
yeah,
hey, he
I-
can
he
clip
did make a
things
final
onto
two.
his face like no one's business.
True. That he was the
Yeah.
greatest at that random challenge, or that
Mhm.
random comp that for sure is transferable to other potential future comps.
Yes. Yeah, that was I guess, should we talk about the weird ass format that
Yeah. I mean, look,
shows do?
we have to get through this.
How did
Oh,
all of
man.
the first group get the same thing? I don't understand. How did this happen?
Either a glitch or just like very random happenstance. Like, what are the odds of that? You want to run the odds? Like, it's what? It's
You're a guy who has a mind for numbers. I'm just like,
5 and 6. Well, I guess if you count that it could be any of them, right? It would be
Low.
4 out of 15 times 3 out of 13 times 2 out of 12 or something like that. And 13 or no 12. It's very low. It would
Yeah.
be like 40 out of like over like 40 out of like 2,000.
oh my
Like 50. Like it's like less than 2% for that to have happened, I think.
Well, it happened.
I think my favorite part about it is like, because of the way the show is, where it's like live moving, but then they have the prepackaged bits. They stood there for like straight up an hour,
Mhm.
just standing in place while
Yeah,
everyone else was coming in.
They must have
God.
been very happy to finally sit down on those porta potties.
Yeah, right up
Okay,
until they
great.
got blued.
Yeah.
That was great.
It, and I mean, a little bit of a little spoilerino here, but they didn't just stand there twiddling their thumbs. Those four did apparently make a pact while they were waiting to look out for each other. Those four being Alyssa, Paloma, Monty, and Kyle to make sure that we reiterate.
Yeah.
So that may or may not come into effect.
Did they give
First week.
themselves a porta potty themed alliance name?
No, they just keep
No.
on calling it like the group or whatever. So
The first four. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there are other cringy names that we'll get to for sure.
Good.
For alliances that have happened so far. Pretty much all of them are cringy. So as is Big Brother tradition. But they didn't really have a name. It was more just like a we should look out for each other kind of pact that might form a structure of an
Hey,
alliance.
that's how the cookout started. It wasn't an official alliance. It was just, hey, let's watch out for each other. And then, they ran the season.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yeah. Also, there are historical precedents for first group in pacts playing out successfully, at least to a degree. If you look at, for instance, BB 2 with the first five, who were a dominant alliance up until Canada's HOH twist.
Mhm.
So, yeah, definitely. There's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the challenges?
I guess.
I mean, they're dumb. They're bad, for sure. I was worried that the endurance one was gonna last a long time because I feel if Rachel Riley was up there, she would have stayed on for a long time. I don't know what these crazy kids are doing, just like being down in like 3 minutes. But yeah, I enjoyed the references to like past seasons from the first challenge. We had some Blackstreet Boys. We had a Johnny Mac name drop at one point. That's fun. Glad to see that Big Brother remembers him, because sometimes it feels like he's like the forgotten player from BB17. Should have been an All Stars. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, other than that, pretty dumb challenges. Is that second challenge the dumbest challenge ever been?
It's up there.
Yeah,
Probably top 5 dumbest, yeah.
that's like honestly like LRG level, like less than LRG level challenge. Like LRG, I don't have a budget. We're just gonna play a game of Big Brother.
Yeah. No,
Level.
that is yeah. That's actually, I would say, a challenge that's so bad that I would even like give it a side eye if I was doing it in an LRG. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
So,
bad.
like really?
Oh man, and yeah, we got the backstage twist that was very poorly explained, because I thought I understood it, but I missed another part of it. I mean, Ben, do you want to break it down?
So Chad's winner pick, Pooch, ends up being randomly selected as the backstage boss, and with that, he is immune for the week. Although he does not compete in this HOH, he is not eligible to compete in the veto. He cannot, as he cannot be nominated, which means he's immune, obviously. He cannot vote. I think that's it. And also, he, after the HOH comp, had to choose 3 of the non-HOH players to join him backstage, which initially sounded like it was going to be a good thing, like he was going to get some like Paul friendship bracelet sort of situation to save 3 people. But Julie was like, actually, these 3 people who are backstage are not in a good spot, unlike you, Pooch, who is backstage, but is a backstage boss. And they got all of the bad parts of the backstage boss punishment, but apparently are still vulnerable to be evicted, even though they also can't be nominated.
Yeah, that was the part that confused me, because I was like, oh, I guess they can just be nominated. But no, they cannot be nominated.
Yeah.
So somehow, through the twist, they're still going to be vulnerable. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, so there was an interview, I think, with Dalton Ross that we did preseason that I like I didn't read it, but I skimmed it.
Mhm.
And it sounds like the first eviction there's going to be a twist where somebody will be kind of randomly made vulnerable in some way, not randomly, but like somebody who is not a nominee on eviction night will become vulnerable. That's kind of the cagey way that she explained it. So we, as America and the audience, are voting to save one of the three women who were selected by Pooch uh, to save them from the backstage twist.
Mhm.
Uh, my guess would be somehow one of the two remaining women will become a third nominee on eviction night. Maybe they have to do like a head-to-head challenge or competition beforehand, and they become like a random third nominee. Maybe the two of just become third and fourth nominees. I don't know what's going on, but like definitely the two women who are going to stay backstage will be vulnerable in some way on eviction night as well. And that's presumably why they can't be nominees, is so that they can be a part of this twist guaranteed.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, without the house knowing that that's the case, how much was that even going to factor in? Like, you're not going to
yeah.
plan a week and be like, all right, all of us are voting for this person, right? Yep, good, we're good. Oh, this other person's vulnerable now. Okay, that doesn't matter to me because I already made the plans to vote
Yeah,
this person now.
nobody is switching, like, say like Alyssa randomly becomes a third nominee, right?
Hmm,
Nobody's gonna be like, oh, okay, now that Alyssa's on the block, we can for sure, last minute flip the vote to get her out. That's just like
yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
It's
And
yeah, so it's gonna suck for the
yeah,
player to be on the block, but I don't think they're gonna go home. I could be wrong, of course,
hmm
but
yeah, and we saw this even last season in Celebrity Big Brother season 3 with
mhm.
Todd Bridges, kind of last minute getting flung up onto the block when a plan was already in place, and he got votes, but he was ultimately there was already a plan in place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll see. I doubt it's gonna have too much of an effect, but I expect the unexpected, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, Daniel crushed it. He's the musician. He knows his way around setting up a drum set.
hmm
Just completely unfair for the other two.
Yeah.
He's a ringer.
Definitely a rare situation where the theme of the challenge actually lines up with making you more competent at the challenge. He definitely seemed to be faster, arms that it should be set up. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So hey, good for him. He crushed it. Obviously, he also I think won the more impressive part of the 3-part challenge in terms of
hmm
like, oh, he did really well on that. I think he has a chance to do well in other endurance comps now.
Yeah.
Um, so I think a good night for Daniel,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the one with the most
I agree.
transferable skill.
Yeah, definitely.
Not like hitting a button faster or clipping plastic jewelry to your face.
Right.
That
Hey,
was
maybe what the
dope.
bleep will happen, and Monty will crush that. We'll see.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I guess, Chad, what are your thoughts here on how Pooch handled his decision? He was kind of put on the spot by Julie here. He was given like a 5-minute commercial break to ponder, but he was basically put in the spot like, here, pick 3 people whose names you don't even know to completely screw over potentially and put at risk. Uh, how do you think he handled that?
I think he did kind of the smart move to make it as least like without him saying like I don't like you or you or you.
hmm
Him just saying like I'll just pick the 3 people who lost first. I think that was definitely smart and something that I didn't even think of at first. But the fact that it was 3 women kind of didn't sit well with me because now it just feels like oh he's targeting women. But I think if he mixed at least one guy in there, it would have been a little better of a look. But I mean, if all 3 women lost first, and that's what all he was going for, and when he even said like kind of at the end as Julie was talking and was fading to commercial, like it's like, oh, I didn't realize it was all women. But and I was like, oh man, why'd you do that? But I don't think it's gonna hurt him too much, even though on the feeds I did see an all girls alliance become a thing. So, but I don't know if like they're targeting Pooch right away. I mean, they can't this week, obviously, but in the future. But I don't think his intention was to target women in any way. It's still just kind of a bad look. But I think he's fine. But yeah, I think he'll have to play a little some cleaning up on that situation. But I think he's fine either way. They all lost first, and that's exactly what he said he wanted to do.
Well, Brittany didn't because there wasn't a loser in that one, so you just kind of ran.
Right.
But the other two definitely did.
That should have been the guy.
Yeah, I think that he wasn't paying attention at all to the competitions. He was just kind of lounging up there. So he didn't really know who lost first, and he was just like looking for volunteers, basically. I do agree that like while it's a really bad look, especially combined with the fact that the backstage boss and all three of the competition winners were all men, and then afterwards all of the three people who got screwed by the twist were women. Definitely not a particularly good look. Because we talked about when we were doing our preseason picks. Big Brother is, not a particularly easy game for women to win historically. We've had 4 female winners of the main Big Brother series since Big Brother 7, which is wild. In the last decade and a half of Big Brother, we've had 4 female winners of the main series. So, yeah, it's definitely not great, but I do agree that strategically it makes the most sense when you have to when you're put in a position where you have to immediately piss a bunch of people off. Pissing off the people who are the least likely to win subsequent comps and have the means to come after you because of it, just like makes logical sense. So.
Yep. I mean, it sucks. It definitely sucks. And like Chad said, it's a bad look, but it is like the most sound decision to make is try to pick the least athletic looking people. And like, in this instance, it's, the woman who dropped out first. Like that's the only like thing he has to go on for comps. So, he picked the 2 who did the worst at the actual challenges, and then like a woman who does not look like she's going to be super athletic. And I say that as someone who, if I were in the Big Brother house, people would say that guy doesn't look like he's going to be super athletic either. So certainly no like shade to her in any way. It just is what it is.
It's just a belly dancer, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what America wants to see.
Yeah.
that would get me the safety thing from America for sure.
I mean, it seems like it's going to work for Brittany. So, we have just to recap, the 3 people we picked were Paloma, Alyssa, and Brittany. Right now, from my read of the internet, the person who seems like to be the favorite to be saved by the America's Twist is Brittany. So likely we will have Alyssa and Paloma being the 2 people potentially vulnerable on eviction night. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because Paloma and Alyssa have not been have been rubbing the live theaters the wrong way in many ways, which we'll go over. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like that pretty much wraps up the episode.
Yeah.
Anything else from the episode you guys want to go over? We give a brief overview of what's gone on the last day and a half of feeds, or I guess even a day and a half, like less than 24 hours of feeds.
Yeah, less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
No, nothing from the episode from me. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, we milked it, man.
All right. So I guess we can get into it. As I mentioned, we come into the feeds. The first thing that we see is the have-not selection, which I mentioned will be important. And those have-nots were, I think, all volunteers, or at least mostly volunteers. And they were Kyle, Michael, Monty, and Joseph. All four of those guys are the have-nots for the week, and you know, potentially a good opportunity to bond with each other in misery. They definitely, multiple of them were not super happy about Slop. Joseph, in particular, not a big Slop fan so far. That's those are our have-nots for the week.
And I mean, the slop he apparently is even worse now, so I can't blame
Yeah,
him for being upset about it.
yeah.
Isn't it just like oatmeal essentially?
It's worse than oatmeal. It's
Yeah,
definitely
and
not oatmeal.
I think there's like a lot of like weird protein powders into it. People were
Um,
saying the last at least like 2 seasons that it like really does a number on your digestive tract, and that the last thing you
oh
want in the
man.
first week of Big Brother.
Hmm.
Especially where there's one bathroom for everyone.
Oh.
You gotta get in really good with the HOH if you have not.
Yeah, it's like I think it's more like oatmeal if it was like kind of globule-esque rather than kind of more like viscous and easily consumable
Mm,
uh, and without flavor.
right. But so why is it important that they gotta have not?
So there are a number of players, or not a number, but there are a handful of players who are trying to put the target on these four
Mm,
because of a various number of reasons. The main person pushing this is Amira, who had a very good conversation earlier with Daniel, to the point where I would say that Daniel considers her probably his like number two confidant after Nicole.
mm,
Um, and so potentially, if Daniel wants to make kind of a big move, which I'm not convinced that he is like ballsy enough to actually do it,
mm.
these four guys could be in the crosshairs, particularly uh, Monty, Kyle, and Michael were the three that were brought up.
Boo.
So great. Michael definitely a large contender to be nominated this week so far. So
Oh man.
potentially will be getting that veto.
Yeah. Come on, Michael. Hey,
Um,
Derek was in trouble last year. He won that first veto, and then he managed to spin it back around. So
True.
all hope isn't lost yet.
Absolutely. And you never know. Like the noms are for sure not locked in at this point.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, other than that, the main movers and shakers of last night into today were our two most likely backstage holders or backstage people who will be staying up there, in Alyssa and Paloma,
mm,
who made a final two deal with each other
nice.
that they've alternately called Scorpio Girls and Pumpkin Spice Latte, abbreviated PSL. Uh,
Very
so I'm
nice.
not sure which of those is going to be sticking. I don't know if PSL is an alliance name or if it's just like a mantra they're saying to each other, and that Scorpio Girls is the alliance name. But they have
Mm,
definitely made a final two, uh, and they have been trying to make some moves here to position themselves between two alliances of six.
mm,
The first one they made was the aforementioned All Girls Alliance that Chad referenced, uh, which is all of the women in the house except for Taylor and Nicole. Uh,
okay.
so that crew came together primarily with the intent of trying to move the target onto Taylor
Mm,
for some reason.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
because
correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben. This alliance that is all the girls but two have 3 votes this week, right?
True. Both
Not
of
a lot they can do with that, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brit. I'm not sure if Brittany will get her vote back when she's saved. I have
mm,
no idea how that works. I think she
so
will.
they
I
could have
think.
4. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, this Girls Alliance is called Girls Girls. as
Girls. All
opposed
right.
as opposed to guys girls, because the premise that Alyssa and Paloma have put forward is that Nicole and uh, Taylor are guys girls and would snitch on an all girls alliance if they were included. Um, I'm not sure. A lot of the kind of foundation upon which Alyssa and Paloma are building their strategy is very speculative, and I would say not super represented in reality. But they are doing a lot, so
Yeah.
it is important to talk about.
Right.
Um,
How stable do you think this alliance is right off the bat? Do you think no?
Not stable.
Okay. I
I
was
mean,
gonna say,
it's a
is it
girls'
gonna
alliance on
happen?
Big Brother.
Okay. Yeah. So there's that.
Every
Yeah.
season, man.
Brittany
Yeah.
has already. Brittany today made a final two deal with Turner, which is pretty much the only thing that Turner has done since the feeds have come on. And she's already trying to subtly throw the girls' alliance under the bus to him. So
Jesus Christ. So basically, this time tomorrow, someone will have spilled the beans entirely of the All Girls Alliance.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I I don't know if I would also trust Indy in terms of subtlety in like keeping strategic secrets. So we'll see how that plays as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is though technically Paloma and Alyssa's backup plan
Okay.
because they don't think that any of the women are actually good allies because they want alliance members who can win comps, and they think that none of the women can win comps.
Okay.
Which, well, kind of misogynistic in its base, has played out pretty consistently in modern Big Brother. That there have been a very few women winning a lot of these comps. They have moved towards very physical heavy in the last few seasons, so I get it, even though it kind of sucks that like, oh, this woman's alliance is kind of our fake alliance because none of these women are going to be winning comps for us. So their plan is to make an alliance with 3 women and 3 men, including them and Jasmine as their third, and they are looking at the 3 of Pooch, Kyle, and Monty, who have already started to make kind of a trio of themselves anyways, with Monty and Kyle being very close in particular.
All right. So, hey, I mean, that's 4 of the original. Oh no, that's all 5. That's all 4 of them, right? That's all 4 of the original 4 in.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
So
kind of the base as I was
all
referencing
4.
before.
Yeah. Okay. That's good for them. I think
Yeah.
that alliance could work.
That alliance, I think, could work as well. And then on the outs, we have Nicole and Taylor, who have bonded with each other. And then, as I mentioned as well, Nicole has also bonded a lot with the HOH Daniel, and is one of the only people in the house who has made a concerted effort to talk to the HOH Daniel. And today, Daniel and Nicole made a final 2 agreement that they called the Rogue Rats.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And they went over potential nominee options. And Daniel has thrown out potentially making a move against the strong guys, which is what Amira had brought to him. And he's also talked about Indy and Michael as potential easy noms to not really stir the pot at all as well.
Yeah. So Nicole's angling for the new rat hole, for a new age, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If I was named Nicole, I just wouldn't make that association with rats. I'd steer clear away from it.
Yeah, I definitely I'm not really well thought through there in terms of that association for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like if I played Big Brother, I wouldn't try to, be the mastermind of week 1, only to be flipped on and go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't agitate the old guy.
No, I would just be very nice to the old guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess any thoughts on any of that? That's the bulk of it, really. So
Yeah, I mean, not great for my winner pick being in danger right off the bat. That sucked. But it's a long game, and there's a lot of, if he gets nominated, he'll have the veto, and I do think he looks athletic enough. He's certainly very smart. So, if it's a lot of times it's like the spelling competition, the build like a puzzle where you have to bounce a ball off things. Like brains go a long way in the first veto usually. So I'm not spinning out quite yet.
Yeah, they don't usually throw the heavy hitter comps out early.
Yeah, they'll do something with a little bit of physical and a little bit of mental in there for that first veto. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really needs to be covered here. I don't really think so. I think that's kind of Amira, I think, has been playing very well.
Mm.
She has positioned herself kind of socially in a very stable position. Like I mentioned, she is one of the only people who has made an effort to influence Daniel at all, and it has worked. Daniel and Nicole talked about how they were very appreciative of the information that Amira had brought to them. Amira also had a good conversation with Terrence today, where she was giving similar vibes to him of like, hey, we need to target these have-not guys. Like we need to try to push this, and Terrence agreed with her. So she's getting very good reception for the moves that she's making, and then Monty as well been doing a very good job socially, and is like one of the people who kind of gets automatically brought up as somebody that everyone kind of wants to bring into their alliance or group that they want to form. So definitely a good position to be in as well. So.
Yeah, no, he seems very charming. He's very handsome. He's jacked. That goes a long way in Big Brother. I feel like in the first week, just be like a cool, handsome guy, and you'll get brought into alliances.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think Amira and Monty, at least for me, were my other two like potential winner picks. But I mean, ultimately with Pooch. But I think like if we had like a fourth have-not room pick, I would say it's either Amira or Monty, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yeah. I guess anything else that we want to bring up here? It should be an interesting first week how this twist ultimately plays out, if it ends up mattering at all.
Mm-hmm. Which we think no, but we would be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good cast overall so far. I mean, there's only like a couple like kind of people I'm like, I don't really care that you exist, or like a couple duds. But otherwise, I won't name them now because I don't know enough about them. But Indy is definitely one of them. But like, I just feel like she's like Victoria from Big Brother 16. I'm like, you're just this like token kind of not intelligent person. I don't know. I don't know enough about her to make that judgment. She just comes across that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is more the language barrier.
Yeah, that's rough.
I think that.
To play in English.
Yeah, that is a part of it for sure.
She had a funny line where she's like, "I'm really funny," and then she's like, "I'm really funny in Portuguese, I'm not as funny in English," which is really funny.
Yeah,
actually, ironically.
I hope that isn't like the hindrance to her as the language barrier, because I remember the guy they kicked out of the season. I forget why, but he had a pretty big language barrier too. From what
he's
one
presumably
video.
Because he was on America's Got Talent. That's the
that's right. That's right.
Speculation is contract issues with another network.
Yeah, good job CBS working that out.
Yeah.
Pretty unbelievable that it got that far, but hey.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be Turner. Like I heard someone got kicked out. I'm like, oh, is it Turner? But
yeah, his sister got eliminated.
Yeah, I thought it was for. I'm like, oh shit.
No.
Representing Massachusetts well.
Might do that. He did that with Ethan. And
oh yeah.
But maybe US does not do that.
We don't care, man.
Yeah. Like, honestly, good. Hate watch.
So far Turner. Like if we're talking about duds, for me so far Turner has been the dud.
Yeah, he's like.
I think so too. Damn it.
He's been like super quiet, non-existent on the feeds for the most part up until today with the conversation with Brittany, which didn't even get super deep beyond, hey, I'll have your back, you should have my back. Let's make a final two, I guess. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, even like Terrence has been very good. He's been like surprisingly good socially for being like old enough to be some of these people's dad. And I don't really see him going home anytime soon. So
Yeah.
Even the other, I forget her name. I think she's like
yeah,
41. Nicole, the chef police
Mhm.
officer. She's 41, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
She doesn't even
She
seem
looks in
41.
good shape though.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
she's 41, but she looks like she'll be fine in competitions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would have guessed she's like maybe like early 30s.
Yeah,
But
totally.
Yeah, no, she's definitely done a good job as well socially, and is made this final two with Daniel, which could end up being good. And she's especially made herself seem like a potential valuable asset in terms of like somebody you would want to win competitions for you as a strong
Yeah.
woman. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's been a slow start for the feeds. There's been there's been no Frenchie situation going on, that's for sure, where there's just like psychoticness going on
Hmm.
24/7 for the first week. Uh,
oh man,
so it's been a relatively kind of slow start. Daniel has been kind of a passive first HOH,
Hmm.
which I don't love, given that he's my winner pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Maybe he can turn it around. He had a couple of good conversations today, so I'm not totally writing him off. Yeah,
When will he nominate this week?
it's there have been multiple people who said that he's nominating tonight, but I
Oh,
don't think he is. Historically, the nominations happen on Friday, so I think tomorrow.
okay.
Um, yeah,
It's tough the first week because you don't know anybody. So
I
it's
know.
literally just gonna be like, who is the? Well, I mean, it should be, who is the person the house is gonna miss the least. But
yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
It
Yeah, it's so first impression based.
yeah. It feels like he's kind of set himself on doing Indy and Michael,
Mm,
and he's just kind of like waiting for somebody to potentially put in the work to change his mind and
yeah.
like give him a valid reason to do something different, which might happen.
Mm,
But if you like had to make me pick who I think the noms are right now, I would say it's Indian Michael.
yeah. All right.
Sense.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that obviously I'm not thrilled, but we'll see.
Yep. All right. That's pretty much all we really have to cover right now. So definitely, we spoke more on this podcast than I expected us to, given that episode had literally no content in it.
Yeah, we're nothing if not long-winded, though, Ben. Like
Yeah.
we proved that, like in our other seasons of this, especially on the Blindsiders, where we can stretch very,
Yeah.
very well.
Hmm.
Milk that cow, man.
Hmm.
Yep. All
Like your
right.
Homelander, just milk it.
Oh god. Catch us on the Boys podcast next week.
Oh, I wish. I would love to do a boys podcast. That show's fucking dope.
Oh man.
Oh man.
All right. You guys want to plug your social media as we wrap up here?
Yeah, go for it, Chad.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at ChadleyJP and on Twitter at ChadPerry25 right below.
You can find me on Twitter at the fake BMAR. That's BMARR. Other than that, I'm about to take like a couple weeks off, but usually all the time I'm on the Wicked Good Sports channel, youtube.com/Wicked Good Sports. Football season's coming up, so we're gonna be out there. Chad's gonna be joining me to talk about the Patriots. I'll be talking about the Dolphins, and then Jack will be talking about the Saints, as well as just all the other random football news that's happening. Like Aaron Rodgers got a tattoo and a new witch girlfriend. Very exciting, good stuff for him.
Yep.
We
Cleveland
did
Browns
Hopefully.
are going all in on Deshaun Watson for some reason.
for some reason. I mean, it's all setting up for the most Browns thing ever, which would be them to lose their first game of the season to Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers. That would just be like beautiful. But we'll see.
Love it, man.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for. I'll be for sure rooting for Carolina.
They're going to be America's
Absolutely.
team that week for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, Ben, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Ben Sharon, and you can follow the main channel on Twitter at WG Everything, and then Wicked Good Everything on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. The main channel is Wicked Everything. This is on our podcast channel on YouTube, Better Radio. Otherwise, you can find us as the Have Not Room on all major podcasting platforms. We will be back sometime next week to talk about the first eviction. Maybe we'll get to our regular Tuesday cycle, and it might be a week and a half before we talk again.
Yeah.
But we'll be back at some point.
Yeah, maybe we can do some like, I don't know, live feed hangout streams or something in the meantime. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to get the Twitch going.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun. What else is there to say? I think that's basically it. I'm going to try to make a TikTok for the Have Not Room, so look out for that, for just little clips to try to help grow the show. We're really close to 100 subscribers on Better Radio. We get 100 subscribers, we get a custom URL. That'd be great for our egos, for SEO, all that. So
Make it
please
easier
subscribe.
for us. Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. And I would definitely love if anything does pop off crazy on the live feeds at any point, I would definitely be down to jump on and do like some 20-minute talk about things.
Yeah, just let me know. We'll go. We'll fire it up. That'll be a lot of fun.
All right. Otherwise, you guys have fun.